SGTV, start your cameras, please. Let's start. Mr. Susan, will you please start us with a pledge? Lead us in the pledge.
Thank you very much. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Thowitzer. Let's do the roll call, please. Go ahead.
Very well. Good morning, everybody. Attorney Aaron Thawitzer here. Commissioner John Tobias.
Here, can you turn on your microphone?
Oh,
if you haven't?
sorry about that.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Is it this one? I'm not familiar with the new system.
Just push the button.
Yeah, just.
Testing.
There, you got it.
Thank you. Commissioner John Tobias.
Here.
School Board Member Matt Susan.
Here.
Citizen Member John C. Davis.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. And now, because of a switch of the county commission, there's a switch of membership here. So we have gone from Chairman Steele, who then appointed Commissioner Pritchett. So we need a new chair. I'm de facto running this right now. Do I have a motion for a chair?
It has to be a county commissioner, correct?
Yes, that's right.
And so are you looking to lead for your third straight year, Mr. Tobias?
Well, Chairman Steele did it before. We could be really mean and put Commissioner Pritchett. I will leave that in your hands. I'm certainly
so I
not
get to
asking
choose.
for it.
Okay.
And I, as the de facto chair, can't make that call. So again, whatever you want.
So how long does Mr. Steele has until the end of his term, right? So are we going for another year term is what we're doing?
My understanding is, and we can punt this over to the clerk's office here, we're coming to a close here at our next meeting. We will then elect a new chair. So this will just be the chair for the meeting.
Okay, you. Yep, that's good.
So hearing a motion for myself as chair, do I have a second?
Second.
I think you made the motion.
Well, you kind of said it for me, so
I second the motion.
there we go.
Okay, hearing a motion and a second, let's take a vote for the chair of this meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay. Passes. Great. Moving on for the minutes for approval of the August 14th, 2023 organizational session. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Passes 3-0. Board reports. We'll start with the board attorney, Mr. Thowitzer.
No report.
Thank you. Myself, no report. Mr. Susan.
No report.
Great. Citizen member John C. Davis.
No report.
And citizen member Tracy Williams is not in attendance, which brings us to public comment. I do have one public comment, and that would be Commissioner Chuck Nelson. You're welcome up here.
Hi, I'm Chuck Nelson, former commissioner, but don't hold that against me. Want you to know, first of all, I'm here as a friend of Roger and Glenn, who have an issue that they would like to present to the board. I'm not being compensated. They are my friends. They're my neighbors. And they asked me if I would be kind enough to be here. I've been where you are. I was, as a commissioner, I've sat on the Value Adjustment Board, and I can tell you I never heard anything similar to what this issue is. These gentlemen and a friend bought a house back in 2007, and the house was homesteaded under one of the names associated with that. They all put their money in, and that's the way it went for all these years. Well, Joyce Warren, who's the third party to this, decided she wanted to retire, wanted to go back to Iowa, which I can't figure out why, but wanted to go back to be with family. And so they bought Joyce's interest out, and they paid her basically what her third of that was. As it turns out, because her name was the only one on the title, they lost their homestead exemption. Their value adjusted homestead went from 300,000 plus to almost 600,000. Yet nothing changed. There's nothing devious. They've lived in this home now for almost 20 years, but they've lost their homestead exemption. And so the request is that they be reinstated at the previous level that would be appropriate with the 3% recapture rule and those things, and give them the homestead exemption back, and to clarify and to update the ownership interest, which they have since done. But it just seems morally a problem that they haven't changed anything. They've lived in the home, they continue to live in the home, would like to stay there, but it's created certainly a hardship when your homestead exemption doubles. They've also had some personal issues with health. They've had, of course, as everyone in the state of Florida, with home insurance, and it's just a huge hit to them as a family. So we would request that the Value Adjustment Board consider reinstating the homestead exemption as it was or would have been had their names been on the title, and to rectify that circumstance.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Nelson. As you know, this isn't moral, this is legal. And for that reason, I'm going to punt it over there to our attorney. This is the first I'd heard I didn't get an email of this, so I can't address anything specifically more than what is given. And Mr. Thowlitzer, can you comment on some of that, please?
Sure. So, unfortunately, the board's not able to take action based on public comment. There hasn't been any notice, so the board can't take up, can't really consider what you're asking today. Public comment isn't sort of an opportunity to rehear or reconsider what happened at the hearing.
If I may ask,
Go ahead, Chair Nelson.
I believe that they did file to be heard.
My understanding is that there was a request for public comment. I don't recall receiving anything like that you would consider to be a request for reconsideration or anything like that.
And I'm looking on the agenda here, and
would have.
this is not on the agenda. And had it been on the agenda, I think we all would have done a little bit of due diligence on this. And this is the first I'm hearing of it.
Yeah, I don't recall receiving a request for reconsideration, and that. By request for reconsideration, I'm saying a specific, something in writing indicating what the problem was, what the relief sought is, that sort of thing. If we had received that, the standard practice is to provide it to the property appraiser for comment, and then the board can take it up.
We believe that it had been done, which I was a little surprised why we were here under public comment, to be honest with you. But I think Roger and Glenn both believed that they had done everything that they
We
needed
would have walked every mile.
for this, to be considered.
Mr. Thowlitzer, is there a
Nicole.
time frame for this type of process where they could?
I don't believe the board has a formal rule, but it would certainly have to be before the final meeting. Taking it up at the meeting for the first time, again, the issue is notice.
Oh, without a doubt.
The rules require it. There's no way around that. So I'm not unsympathetic.
If I may ask, what would that process have been? They went before the magistrate and were basically punted to you. And I believe you filed some additional paperwork as a result of that. And I'm not sure how we ended up here, or in this circumstance.
Without seeing that, I really can't comment on it.
And you don't have another meeting after this one?
No, not until next
This is
cycle.
the end of the 2023 season.
Right.
So, and we have the property appraiser in attendance. May we ask, did you receive any notice of this?
No.
I appreciate it if you want to comment.
I don't want to step on the Value Adjustment Board attorney's toes. But a request for reconsideration would not come to the property appraiser. The request for reconsideration would come from the board to the property appraiser if there was a remand or something that the Value Adjustment Board wanted us to review. But let me say this, it's not that I'm not sympathetic or empathetic to the position of these gentlemen, but what the former commissioner would be asking would require a change in the Constitution. So when a property is sold, the cap is reset, you have to file your homestead to establish your homestead and your cap for the first time when you take title, and that's what has happened here. So there's no provision in the law that allows the property appraiser to carry a cap from a previous owner to a new owner. So that's the law and the Constitution as it stands now.
We were the.
Greatly appreciate you coming up and sharing with us. Again, it seems like from many different perspectives, it's nothing we can act on right now, and I appreciate you guys showing
Well,
up.
Thank you. We need to do a little research and find out how we got here or didn't get here, and, but we'll appreciate your time.
Sounds good.
Mr. Chair, may I say one thing?
Absolutely. Mr.
Ju-
Bowser?
Mr. Nelson, I mean, you may or may not know, but there are 60 days after the final decision is entered to file a circuit court appeal, just so you guys are aware of that. That would be your next legal remedy. Sorry about that.
Thank you. Okay, that concludes public comment. New business, item 1. Let's adopt and finalize recommendations of the special magistrate for petitions to the Value Adjustment Board for the 2023 tax season. Approve the 2023 notice of tax impact and authorize the Value Adjustment Board clerk to publish the tax impact
Move to approve.
notice. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Hearing a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Passes 3-0. Item H2, approve and execute certificates for the VAB for real property and tangible personal property, Form DR 488. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Do I have a second?
I second the motion.
Hearing a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, nay. Passes 3-0. Finally, grant permission to advertise and set compensation rate for special magistrate for 2024. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second that motion.
Thank you. Hearing a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Passes 3-0. Do I have anything else before I conclude this meeting? Mr. Davis, thank you for showing up. I appreciate it. With that, I'll conclude the meeting at 9:18.
The opinions expressed by any member of the public during any period of public comment do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County, Florida, Space Coast Government Television, or the program sponsor, and are solely those of the presenter. The Board of County Commissioners of Brevard County, Florida, Space Coast Government Television, and the program sponsor hereby expressly disclaim any and all responsibility or liability for any defamatory or slanderous statements expressed by any member of the public during any such period.